Hello, I'm Tony.
And I am Louie.
And this is Talking During the Movie.
It's the Talking During the Movie podcast with your hosts, Louie Gravance and Tony Whitten.
All right, I think we've got a good episode this week. I'm excited.
Really?
Yes.
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 What did you think of the film?
This week we're going to discuss Bridge of Spies, the latest Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks movie. And, here's what I have to say about it. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. I'd say even Oscar-worthy. But the thing about it is, it's made up from a bunch of other movies that were really good. You've seen this movie before, in pieces of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's got the classic Spielberg touches. You know, every character that's important has this introduction. There's got those nice push-ins.
And the bad guys all look like bad guys.
And the bad guys are bad
they got
guys.
Scars and speak those accents like this is it. You know, tell you their evil plan. Yeah.
But a lot of it is borrowed from a lot of the other Steve. You can see like Raiders of the Lost Ark in this one. You can see Schindler's List in this one. You can see a lot of his. He's been doing a lot of his dramatic movies have been these biopics of things that actually happened. There was Amistad. There's Munich. Lincoln, Schindler's List. You can see all of that in here. So, I mean, people go to Spielberg movies to see, you know, a good movie. And that's what you're going to get.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. But you've seen all these pieces before.
That's not why I was cool to it. And I was cool to it. And I want to say that it's a fair... He's, you know, Mr. Spielberg is clearly the greatest living filmmaker on earth. I mean, come on.
It's really well done, yes.
It's impeccable. It's
well crafted. No one's
questioning
the talent.
It's like
involved.
Buying a Cadillac. It's quite, you know, everything.
Right. Where you know what to expect when you buy that Cadillac.
But I'm cool. I was cool to it, but not for the reason that you say. No, I was cool to it for other reasons. No reason. First of all, they used to say that Steven Spielberg was like Walt Disney in that he made movies that he himself would want to see. Right. Or that his family would want to see, or that he'd want to take his family to. And I think that Steven Spielberg has transcended from that into he's now someone who makes movies he thinks you should see. You know what I mean?
There's a bit of that feeling,
So they're always a bit like Flintstone vitamins in that they taste perfectly fine, but it's the whole thing is that they're good for you. And a Spielberg movie is supposed to be good for you. And the villains are drawn like villains. You know, it's what it is. Now, having said that, a responsibility comes with that. And in the same way that I slam Clint Eastwood for glorifying snipers and people that are trained to kill without really going there, I think the same thing here is there's a dead body, and we're talking about everyone that's standing around the dead body, but the stinking dead body is right there, which is why are we involved in any of that bullshit espionage? And what is it wreaking even today? What kind of havoc is being wrought from this machismo bullshit game that's played by people with power? And we sort of get right up to that, but then it gets to be a very, very well crafted, to your point, like a serious Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing, and that it's a heavily white hat, black hat, and this is what has to happen. But we're led to believe that these spies are all great people doing the best possible thing for their countries in the best of all possible places in the best of all possible times.
I didn't pick that up from that at all.
You didn't?
No. I picked that these were people that were doing what they were told. The spies themselves, at least these two particular ones. Yeah. There might have been an ability that they didn't crack, but they didn't seem extraordinary.
Well, and exactly, they didn't seem extraordinary. And to that point, okay, my feeling
maybe what they were doing was extraordinary, but these people, I think that was part of the point, was that these were normal people caught up in this.
We should probably say you've seen the preview, so you know that one country is going to try and trade one spy for another, and somehow Tom Hanks is in the middle of negotiating this deal.
All in the trailer.
It's right there, so that's not so he's now.
It's a true story. You can look it up. We're not giving nothing away.
To be that person to negotiate the deal, I don't think would be the character that Tom Hanks beautifully illustrated. My guess is the person that negotiated that deal would be a lot more Jim Webb and a lot less Tom Hanks. So this sort of mild-mannered, stoic guy that I don't know, would be in the middle of this whole espionage catastrophe and be steely-eyed, and somebody the Russians would go, we better not mess with him. Right. I don't know.
Right. Well, that's where I think the clever writing comes in, that This probably isn't, what happened exactly, but they make this interesting character, and it makes for good movie watching.
It's sort of like making love to a very, very beautiful person that you don't care about. In that it's perfectly attractive, and the kissing's good, and, it's a relatively competent, more than competent experience. The person has done this kind of thing before.
But when you're done...
you're not quite satisfied. I wasn't quite, I got 2/3 into it. I was getting a little antsy, frankly.
Yeah.
Well, we all know he's not going to die.
Right.
We all, again, you see, it's a thing that happens, and we know, so it's going to happen. This thing's going to hit the ground. It's just a matter of watching it.
Mm-hmm. To see how it unfolds.
See, yeah.
Right, you know how Titanic ended, but you want to see how it unfolds.
Yes.
How they do it. They craft a very good story. It's entertaining to watch, but yes, I like it. I compare it to like a Thanksgiving dinner. Like, I like my Thanksgiving dinner, and I want turkey, and I want mashed potatoes and gravy, and I want my stuffing and my bread. I go there to expect
cranberry sauce
and cranberry
or
sauce.
Not canned sauce.
Either one is fine with me, as long as you have. But there needs to be cranberry sauce.
Does it have to be there? Really?
Right. Yes, and I like that every time. But usually when you go out for a meal, like, I want to try. You either you want to try your favorites or you want to try something new. But you go to a favorite restaurant because like you're expecting this brand. So if you go expecting to see, if you want to go to this movie and just get what you've gotten before, the same Thanksgiving dinner, it's still a good dinner.
It's a good dinner.
It's a good dinner. And that's why you keep going to get it. But usually when you go to see a movie by a favorite actor or a favorite director, it's like going to your favorite restaurant, where you're not going to get the exact same thing perhaps that you got last time. But it's going to be kind of within that family, and it's still going to be good.
When you're on your bridge of spies and the like... The music played. Yeah.
And the music was familiar too. During the credits, when the credits started, I'm like, this sounds a lot like Finding Nemo. And I looked it up, and it's the same composer.
It is?
Even the music is being recycled here. The shots are recycled. The imagery is recycled.
Well, and recycled might be harsh. It's familiar territory.
I would not be.
It's familiar.
I would not feel bad about saying
gracious.
recycled.
All right. Well,
it's still good. As long as you're going to borrow from the best, even if that's yourself, Mr. Spielberg, and borrow the best part of all of these things have been tried and true. People have thought, I love this part, so they just put it in another movie and repackaged it.
Plus, if you're somebody that only sees 4 movies a year out, as opposed to me, which sees like 104.
Right.
So you want to know it's going to be a good dinner. You want to know what it's going to be like.
I think that's what it's for. It's almost too packaged.
It's like a good housekeeping seal of approval.
Yeah.
So, but if you go to a movie 4 times a year, and those are you're going to enjoy this movie. You're going to feel like you got your money's worth, and you're going to know that you went to a classy film.
Right. But it's almost like
I can't see it again.
But it's almost like this is the 2006 movie, or 2015, and next year they're going to have the 2016 movie, where it's just, this is the movie to see for these things, these feelings.
And again, maybe we're being harsh. If anybody else had done this film, maybe everybody would be going,
Maybe.
If,
Yeah, again, it's just taking this movie. Now, this year it's going to be this one.
It's a little long. I think it's 15 minutes too long.
It might be a little long.
It's 15 minutes.
I think it's
2 hours and 15
I think it's
minutes.
paced well.
Well, it's paced deliberately.
They put a lot in there, yeah. But some things they skip over because they realize that's not the important part. The important part is coming up. This is what we're saving our time for.
Okay, he always says, there's always the corny... he loves to do the thing where people, all of a sudden there's a close-up of somebody going... he'd like to do that kind of thing all the time. Okay.
Seeing the dinosaurs for the first time.
Right, or like crowds of people emoting. Okay.
Right.
So he does. This is the like really like corny Steven Spielberg this time. Okay. When he takes the case and it gets a little dicey and the public is not into it and he gets on the bus or the train. And everyone just happens to have the newspaper with his picture on it. And they all happen to look at it and have to go. And as the camera pans over everyone on the train has the paper going.
Yeah, that's a specific film choice.
It's so, and then so later on in the film, when one of these same people has a reason to feel differently about it, we get
that's the film technique. Yeah.
All right, man. All right. You know, it's like you feel guilty. It's like you feel guilty criticizing Steven Spielberg. It's like how you must have felt when Walt Disney was alive, saying, "Yeah, I've seen it before." Like, well, what the you mean you've seen it before? It's Walt Disney. What do you mean? He will be around for. Appreciate this genius. So maybe
it is genius. No one's taking away from his genius. I'm just saying we've seen that genius.
I think we both feel exactly the same way about the movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
She's a pretty girl, but I wouldn't date her again.
Maybe, like I don't need to go out and buy this.
I wouldn't go out with her again.
Comes out.
No, it's like we had a nice dinner.
We
had a good time.
We had a great time.
We all had a good time.
Yeah, it was very nice.
But I don't need to meet the parents.
Yeah.
I don't need to meet the parents, and I think we did it.
All right,
Yeah.
See you next year.
So, if you see about 4 movies a year, this might be, and you don't want to like, am I going to like this? Am I not going to like this?
Yeah, I'd say if you had 4 movies to see, this
is quite
probably
responsible, and you're right. It probably is going to be nominated for Academy Awards.
It's a really good movie, and everyone in it is really good. But if you've watched, if you've only watched 4 movies, you might not have seen, Tom Hanks's.
No, if you've seen,
filmography or Spielberg's filmography, but if you've seen them before,
you've seen this movie.
You've seen this before.
Even if you've seen this before.
Yeah. You're like, oh, there's that. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Even the music is familiar.
No. Oh, yeah.
It's still.
Oh, yeah, it smells. I don't know about the smell.
No, it's, I don't know about
kind of the same thing, but anyway.
But it's still good. If you like that Thanksgiving dinner, then you are going to love this Thanksgiving dinner.
I think you could do better.
You might?
I think you could go right now. I think you could go and see The Walk. I think you could go and see. Help me out here because I've seen freaking everything. You
got to write these down.
I'm sorry. There are better choices that you could make right now, I think.
Well, there's also new movies coming out, like the new James Bond is coming out. We both got our tickets for Star Wars 2 months from now.
Do you know where I'm headed in about 90 minutes?
Where are you heading?
Gem and the Holocaust. I mean, Gem and the Holocaust.
I don't think it'll be that bad, but it looks bad. Well, it doesn't look like Gem and the Holograms. If we're going to get off on a tangent for a second, it looks like they just took some story about a girl who starts a group and becomes famous, and then they slap Gem and the Holograms on it just to get some name recognition.
The disrespect to a great.
Where are the misfits? Where is the synergy? Where's the sparkly earrings?
Why
do I know? Why does a grown man know this much about it? Alrighty, and your theme song.
No, I can't. Just find your Bridge of Spies.
Let the sky fall. Let it crumble
when the pie falls.
So if you want to go see it, it's a good movie. Go see it.
So it's thumbs this, I think is what we're saying.
I'd give it like a thumbs this.
All right.
I'd give it a thumbs
this. I'd be about here.
It still does, but because I've seen it before, I'd give it like this. It's almost a full. Yeah, right about there. Yeah, about 7/8. All right. Well, thank you for watching this week and letting us go on.
It's our pleasure.
I'm Tony.
I'm Louie.
And this has been Talking During the Movies.
When you're on the Bridge of Spies and there's nothing there but light,